Dedication and Introduction to Preludes of Poetry and Music. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Larry Wilson. Dedication and Preludes of Poetry and Music by Irene Curtis. Dedication. Requests from friends for copies and the poems written by my daughter Irene led to the desire to put them into convenient and permanent form. Dear letters have come testifying to the purity, earnestness, and inspirational idealism of her life, and it is hoped that this little volume may in a measure perpetuate that influence. After a struggle of 3 years against failing health, on April 7, 1916, the sweet spirit passed on, and all that is mortal now rests in the family lot at Anamosa, Iowa, on a beautiful hillside overlooking the junction of two rivers, which thread their way through a lovely vale shadowed by overhanging cliffs. In memory of her, and to the college classmates and friends whom she so dearly loved, this book is dedicated. Florence Noyes Curtis. A Poem by Louisa Spear Wilson, Class of 1912. It was borne along on the breath of song, the soul of a maiden pure and free. Her virtues and shy rare sweetness blent like the tones of a beautiful instrument. At her touch new melodies sprang to birth, and gladdened her little spot of earth. The souls that her soul touched first admired, and then were uplifted and inspired. It was borne along on the breath of song, the soul of a maiden pure and free. From the Smith College Alumni Quarterly, July 1916. Introduction. He passeth not from this world ever who liveth in the memory of true friends. In a few brief years, as we count time, Irene Curtis lived much and lived intensely. She was born at College Station, Texas, August 22, 1890, and spent the first 3 years of her life there, her parents then removing to Washington, Louisiana, where she passed a happy childhood. This life in the South made a deep impression upon her sensitive nature, and the early years spent in quiet places remote from the whirl of city life gave these impressions opportunity to sink deep into her thoughtful mind. It was certainly this life that familiarized her with the Negro mode of thought and expression, and made the writing of dialect poems so natural to her, when in later years she began to voice these childhood impressions. When she was 13 years of age, her home was removed to Chicago, where she entered upon the intense and varied life of study and cultural diversion of a large city. After graduating from the University High School in 1908, she spent her freshman year at the University of Chicago. She graduated the same year, 1909, from the Columbia School of Music, having the signal honor to be chosen by the directors to play the concerto at commencement, accompanied by a large orchestra made up of members of the Theodore Thomas Orchestra. In the autumn she entered Smith College, from which she received the degree of Bachelor of Arts in 1912. It is interesting to note that her major work was in philosophy. 2 of the 3 musical numbers that she contributed to the commencement programs that year are included in this book: The Witch's Dance, which she orchestrated for the presentation of Macbeth, and the Ivy Song, music for Class Day. Her talent in music, both in execution and composition, had shown itself unmistakably when she began its study at 8 years of age, her playing even then showing unusual brilliancy. The encouragement given in those early days stimulated her musical ambitions, bearing fruit later in the artistic quality of her playing, and a marked gift for composition, and showing great promise for the future. She loved to commune with her piano, playing from the masters until late hours in the darkness, and improvising from her own unlimited store of melody and rhythm. Unfortunately, few of her compositions were ever prepared for publication, for with the diverse interests which engaged her attention, the developing and writing of them was of necessity deferred. The writing of verse began with her earliest use of the pencil, and the first dialect poems were written in her first year at Smith College, the occasion being her mother's return from a sojourn in that old home in Louisiana, bringing back to the college girl in Massachusetts, in the midst of her student life, the interests and images of those earlier years spent in the regions of the cotton and canebrake and the Cherokee rose. Having at this time a paper to prepare for her English class, and recalling the memories of old scenes as she sat that evening overlooking the moonlit campus, a Darky Pastoral and the 2 succeeding poems were written. Other poems followed these during her college years, but after college came a period when music engaged her thought until failing health made piano playing too arduous. Then in December 1914 she again turned to the pen for expression, and during that month the last 4 dialect poems were written, as well as The Dying Day, The Christmas Season, Christmas Eve, To P.F.B., Christmas 1914, and Fragments. She was an unusually interesting girl, with exceptional endowments and very likable, Professor Gardner of the Department of Philosophy at Smith College wrote, and we looked, as she herself must have done, to an exceptional fulfillment of so rare a promise as her young life seemed to give. A rare strength and gentleness, a love for the beautiful, and a passion for perfection in all things she did, together with a keen interest in all the great problems of the day, and a high sense of personal responsibility toward their solution, were her most marked characteristics. The organizations of which she was an active member are an index to the diverse nature of her interests. She organized and was the first president of the Sketch Club of the University of Chicago High School, and after graduating from college was an active member of the Chicago College Club, the Political Equality League, and the Amateur Musical Club. In contrast to these serious pursuits and interests was her intense enjoyment of all physical activities. Her childhood playmates remember her as laughing-eyed and full of quickness. The children who confessed themselves in awe of the little girl who performed such marvels at the piano were loyal in proclaiming her the fastest runner on our street. And this little girl, with sparkling eyes and flying braids of dark silken hair on a head exquisitely poised, became the maiden who entered with zest into the work of the college gymnasium, and who delighted in skating, rowing, swimming, horseback riding, dancing, tennis, in fact, in all out-of-door sports. Thus her life was by no means narrow. Friends recall the deftness and efficiency of her flexible, swift-moving fingers when she took up the needle and fashioned from dainty fabrics such apparel as all women love. She was never idle. It was as if she half unconsciously was carrying out the thought of him who said, "My Father worketh hitherto, and I work." For she had a deep religious sense, following out the teachings of her Master as faith, fully and joyously as those of her teachers in school, conservatory, or college. Friends who were nearest to her in sympathy have written that they were ennobled and enriched because Irene Curtis had lived, and had expressed her ideals, and had given them her loyal friendship, and had voiced her faith in mankind. Dr. Burton, president of Smith College, wrote of her, "She made a distinct contribution to the life of this college." A line from George Eliot occurs to me as I think of her early death. She has certainly fed the high tradition of the world, and left her spirit safe in other breasts. One wishes that all the hopes of her life might have had fulfillment here, but the beauty of her character and the clearness of her soul, the influence of her aspirations, her devotion to music and all other things of an uplifting nature, which made her not only lovable, but an inspiration to finer ideals and nobler living, will continue to live in the hearts of all who knew her, and in these selections from her poems and music here preserved for her friends. End of introduction.
A Darky Pastoral by Irene Curtis. Read for LibriVox.org by K. Hand. Oh, dey talks about de city wid its shinin' blindin' lights, but yo' gib me dis heah country and de lazy summer nights. I sit in de do' ob de cabin and blink at de big round moon, while my mammy croons to de baby a soft li'l South'n tune. And de buds go a flyin' homeward, and de bats flop ober de moon, and de screech owls keep on a screechin', while my mammy's a singin' dat tune. Dat's de sweetest kin' o' music, dough my mammy can't sing so fine, but it seems to go wid de moonlight, and de smell ob de Cherokee vine. Oh, dey talks about de city, but de country'll do for me, wid de moon and mammy a singin', and the screech owl up dah in de tree. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Mah Baby Bruddah by Irene Curtis. Read for LibriVox.org by K. Hand. I just lubs Mah Baby Bruddah when he sits and plays with his toes. He's so cunnin' and fat and quiet, and he's got such a mite ob a nose. But gee, how that young'un can holla right out in de daid o' de night, and it's mighty po fun for Mammy when he raly gets wound up tight. He can beat any circus lion, but just de same he's sweet, and when he sits holdin' his toes dah, Mah Bruddah just can't be beat. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Dat Rabbit by Irene Curtis. Read for LibriVox.org by K. Hand. One day I was sittin' a-thinkin', and right by the side of the road come a cute li'l baby rabbit, no bigger dan a toad. And he looked so fuzzy and soft-like dat I wanted to hug him tight. But when I started to catch him, he wasn't nowhere in sight. Dat's just de way wid rabbits. Dey's scairt ef a leaf meks a noise, and dey's scairter still ob de hosses, and scairtest o' all ob de boys. You bet I laks de rabbits, so cunnin' and sweet and sof', and I wish dey'd let me hug 'em, but seems lek dey got to run off. Mah daddy says dey eats cabbage, and dey ought to be kilt off quick. But don't colored folks like cabbage? And de rabbits just take de best pick. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Bugguh Man by Irene Curtis. Read for LibriVox.org by K. Hand. Down in de woods by de bayou, dey's a house wid a funny ole man, and Mammy said he eats chillun, and buries de bone in de sand. She say ef I don't tend de baby, and mind he don't crawl out de do', dat de funny ole man'll ketch me, and I'll never get back no mo'. Daddy just laughs when I tell him, and says to mind what Mammy say, and ef I's good lak she'll tell me dat de bugguhs won't tek me away. And so I never goes fishin', and I never can dah make a noise. I just stay to home wid de baby, 'stead of playin' leap frog wid de boys. Dey say de ole man won't hunt grown ups, and my dad don't mind fishin' at night, and I s'pose dat he can play leap frog, but he's mighty brave, all right. When I's a big man I's a goin' and send dat ole bugguh away, so he won't get after my chillun and swallow 'em up some day. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Crawfishin' by Irene Curtis. Read for LibriVox.org by K. Hand. Down where de crick gets bigger, dere's a muddy old crawfish hole, and you'll better not try to go swimmin', or you'll ketch somefin wuss than a cold. But it's mighty nice to catch crawfish, and stick 'em into a pail, and then watch 'em squirm and wiggle when de boys catch a hole o' de tail. And den it's mighty excitin' when you r'ally do get a bite. You have to jest pull so slow like, and then juk 'em wid all o' your might. And I'll tell you what, 'tain't easy to get 'em in de pail tight, 'cause a crawfish is good as a lobster for puttin' yo' up a hard fight. But jest de same when I's fishin', de part dat looks like de bes' is jest lookin' down into de water, feelin' busy sorter while you res'. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Heart o' Gol Sunlight by Irene Curtis. Read for LibriVox.org. Heart o' Gol Sunlight. Little flower, heart o' gold. They calls you buttercup. Seems like when I smells o' you, it sorta cheers me up. And when the sunlight's searching down as far as you can see, it seems like you just catch it all and smiles it back at me. Yes, I was making halos by the old plantation gate, and at night you looks like starlight when I comes from picking late. Then your sorta seems to tell me, keep a going, chill some more. and you'll find your mommy waiting with the baby at the door. Then I holds my head up higher, and the shadows scoot away, and I yes forgets the whippoorwill and what the screech owls say. For ain't you my friend at twilight, like yours all through the day? And ain't I helping mommy now that daddy's gone away? Oh, they call you little buttercup. I ain't saying that ain't right, but all us legs to call you this, little heart of gold sunlight. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Sawmill by Irene Curtis, read for LibriVox.org. The Sawmill. Over on Massa's plantation, where my daddy works all day long, there's the funniest, dusty old sawmill that's a singing the queerest song. It sounds just like a big juice harp, and every hot afternoon, when my brother and me plays possum, it sings us the puttiest tune. It just goes up and down so luck, and never to stop for a rest. And next to my mommy's singing, I likes the sawmill the best. And way from the bend in the bayou, the dust mound is so shiny and bright that it looks just like a big gold bank way down in a soft golden light. But when I goes down there with Daddy, the dust mound's just gray like a coon, and the sawmill starts howling and screeching instead of singing that soft little tune. One day I asked Daddy's master why the mill wouldn't sing close to, and why, when you go to the dust mountain, it didn't look shiny and new. And he said, "Well, my boy, that's a question that has puzzled your master to know. But someday you'll find that what glitters ain't always real gold for sure." And so I keeps wondering and wondering, 'cause he didn't say no more. And I keep saying over and over, all glitters ain't gold for sure. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Haunted by Irene Curtis, read for LibriVox.org. Haunted. The great big sycamore I'm standing on the hill, and the rope still a-hanging where the nigger got strung. And the road along the hollow to the empty cotton mill, I'm the hunting place of all the folks that ever got hung. One night Jim Rostes was a-coming from a spree, and he passed that sycamore riding on his mule. He saw something spooky was a-swinging from the tree, and his skin began a-creeping and a-yanking at his wool. Behind that tree he heard a clanking and a rattle, and a long white skinny arm a-waving him to come. Then a big black hooting thing must knocked him off his saddle, and he vowed he'd never, never take another drop of rum. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Po the Cottontail Rabbit by Irene Curtis, read for LibriVox.org by Malka Davis. Po the Cottontail Rabbit. Hiya! What you doin', yo po white trash? A-shootin' at things that ain't bother you none? A-shootin' to kill when yo's feelin' brash? And eatin' po carcasses just for the fun? Yo picks out a po little cottontail rabbit, a-racin' his shadder to see which'll win. A-scamperin' and scootin' and doublin' and turnin', just jayin' hisself so the sun has to grin. Yo squints down yo gun when the critter ain't lookin', and aims when it stops just a minute to rest. and then bang, and the smoke grabs your lungs for a minute and chokes all the pity what's left in your breast. Dat poor little mite of a cottontail rabbit ain't got no more frisk than a bag of cornmeal, and he hangs just as limp from the end of your musket as if he was sure he done got a square deal. But somewhere way up where the buzzards can't circle, there's someone, at least so the minister said, who keeps his eye peeled for poor white trash and rabbits and cries if he sees just a sparrow that's dead. And Christians all loves him, he told all us fellas, and never goes shooting at rabbits and things, and never goes busting up cities and people and dropping down bombs from balloons that's got wings. When I was a real grown-up, I'll stop all that fighting and smile at the folks that seem needing a smile, and never go hunting for poor little rabbits, 'cause being real Christians is lots more worthwhile. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Peace of the Lord by Irene Curtis. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, BC. Gwan outdoes ye pesky youngin', trying to play on the kitchen floor. Ain't Ann told ya to play out yonda? Quit pokin' ya head through the open door. Gimme dat gum, ain't ya never quit chewin'? Ain't min you don't sass your mummy back. You better be good, I'll lun you to holler. Now fetch me some taters from out o' de sack. Grab up dat bucket right smack now, ya hear me? And fetch me some watah from out o' de pump. And tote dese heah peelings and stuff to de pig pen. And min dat you hurry, I'll make ya jump. Land sakes, but dat youngin' 'll kill his poor mammy, and ain't had no peace since dat child come around. Dat niggah ain't got no mo' sense dan his daddy. De laziest niggah in dis here ole town. Now pick up dat pitcher, yo young good-for-nothin', and set dis here buttah plate next to de bread. Hi-yah, grab up dat teapot, and min you don't spill it. And don't bust dat platter, I'll bust yo' head. Shut up while I's thankin' de Lord for dese vittles. Now min you don't snicker till I's counted 10. Dear Lord, we should thankful for what's here before us, and grant us the peace o' de Lord. Amen. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Cabin in the Trees by Irene Curtis. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Ray Nielsen, Vancouver, BC. The white magnolia blossoms smell so sweet. The yellow moon am hangin' from the sky. I hear the sound o' pickaninnies' feet, a clogging for to make the time go by. The soft low hum o' June bugs in the breeze, the fireflies a winkin' through the grass, a peaceful sighing in the 'brella trees, as ef dey's settlin' down to sleep at last. A mocking bird down in the old oak tree am singing fit to bust his little throat. It seems lak he sets sho' nuff music free, and melted moonlight trickles from each note. De honeysuckle from de cabin eaves done climb way up into de thorn tree's top, and mixin' wid de prickly thorn and leaves, done fix dat tree a sight to mek you drop. A bunch o' yella light, ah, 'spec de moon, am thinkin' she done got huh picture took. She's grinnin' lak a melon eatin' coon, because she knows how grand she sure mus' look. De cabin doah's wide open, on de flo', de blackies' little coon you'd ebah see, am crawlin' roun' his little dress am too. But dat don't matter much to him or me. De oder pickaninnies can't be still, no madd'n ef dey's bubbles in de crick, and Jimmy has to tickle Sistah Lil, and Rastus got to show who he kin lick. De chillun daddy sets an' hol's his pipe atween his lips a chucklin' at de fun. I reckon he's a thinking all de time when he could lick de fellows ebry one. A husky strappin' niggah in his youth, he'd ride de men's horses for miles aroun'. Too big in frame to ebah seem uncouth, he won de heart o' ebry gal in town. De chillun's mammy rocks, half in a doze, a speaking sharp sometimes to stop de noise, but happy an' contented 'cause she knows dey ain't none finah dan huh gals and boys. An' sittin' on de doorstep Chloe sings 'bout Mary an' Martha goin' to ring dem bells, an' chariots swingin' low an' angels' wings, an' other things de jub'ly hymn book tells. Dat nigger gal kin beat Miss Patty, sho', for singin' dat meks teahs come in yo' throat, an' w'en she stops, de chillun ask for mo', an' once again dem sweet tones skywa'd float. Ah, ask yo' bruddah, city bred an' bo'en, don't you git tired o' all dat mek believe joy? A drinking wine from twilight till de dawn, pretendin' life an' love am jes a toy, to play wid fu' a little while an' sell? To sell because you done forgot de tithes? Oh, whut'd foun' de ole plantation well, for fe' a little wine 'll go to was? Oh, who kin doubt de brudderhood o' man, de ebullisin' kinship o' de soul? De white's white man may be black widin, de black's coon a shinin' heart may hold. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Dying Day by Irene Curtis. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. The village lights are gleaming through the misty veil of dusk. The winter evening sheds its snowy spell, and faint from farthest distance sounds an evening bell. Too soon the pink of sunset fades to violet gray, empurpling the shadows across the frozen bay, and leaving but a glimmer of the dying day. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Christmas Season by Irene Curtis. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. When whistling winds with sleety breath Stretch icy fingers, chill as death, To clutch the newsboy's shrinking ears, And snatch his cap with boisterous cheers; When scurrying mortals, homeward bound, Draw tight their ulsters at the sound; When Jack Frost nips the cabby's nose, And pinches unprotected toes; When roaring hearth fires mock the snow, Then gather in the mistletoe, And make your festive holly wreaths Of berries red and prickly leaves. 'Tis time to show the Christmas smile, And put aside your cares awhile. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Christmas Eve by Irene Curtis, read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. The silver chimes of Christmas steal through frosty air of night. They peal each eve before that wondrous day When Christ within a manger lay. The Titan artist dulls his paint, And sunset's golden glow grows faint. Wee twittering birds through twilight chill Come fluttering homeward o'er the hill, From wind-swept hilltops white with snow, A sparkle in the sun's last glow. The moon comes up, her silver light On winter's garb forms diamonds bright. A radiant whiteness robes the land, And Christmas joy is near at hand. The hours pass by, and through the air Old Santa's team of reindeer tear. Impatient at each small delay, They paw the air and dart away Upon a race most gladly run, A race with dawn which must be won. To homes that fight grim poverty, To homes of midnight revelry, To homes at peace with all the world, To others where peace flag is furled, And war holds power over all, And o'er Christ's birthday sheds his pall. To these and many more he flew, Until the sun came into view. Then Santa paused, his work all done. He backward glanced to greet the sun. A smile, so quaint, so sweet and fine, That all his countenance did shine With love untold, such hope and joy As blackest woe could not destroy. And leaving old Mother Earth His Christmas gift, he blessed her hearth. He gave the angels benizon, Joy, peace on earth, good will to men. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To P.F.B. by Irene Curtis, read for LibriVox.org by phone. Christmas, 1914. Oh, little boy with eyes of blue and golden hair, I wonder now what dreams have you as you sit there And gaze up at the Christmas tree all hung with toys. Oh, don't you think it's nice to be just little boys? And when you thank God for your joys at mother's knee, do you remember other boys across the sea, Whose daddies won't come home not ever any more, And play with them in rainy weather on the floor? And do you think, perhaps, that when you'll be a man, You'll take good care of mother then, the best you can? I wonder what you'll do and be as old time flies. I guess that God alone can see what future lies Within the scope of just one little, busy brain. He knows the answer to the riddle, joy and pain. He reads each heart and gladly hears each prayer expressed, And helps your mother soothe your tears, and when you rest, He helps her tuck you in and kiss you goody night, And says with her words just like this, "Now sleepy tight." May angels guard your rest and keep you free from fears, And may you to yourself be true throughout the years. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Nocturne by Irene Curtis, read for LibriVox.org by phone. Largo. When all the world is motionless and grey, And thoughts come thronging to my sleepless brain, And ghosts of deed that filled the restless day
pass by me in unending fevered train, when to my weary heart a thankless past displays the wraiths of failures, pitiless, and unwept tears well up within my heart, and friendship's false mock true love, fathomless. The Lady of the Stars smiles down at me, a harmony of love and hope she breathes. The airy moonlight falls on hill and tree, and wakes the souls of elfin melodies. If melody could flow unheard, untuned, save in the souls of fairy sprites asleep, and by some strange, half-mystic kinship crooned to souls of men that silent vigils keep, such melody were melody indeed, no instrument nor voice could catch its lilt, and sound, abashed, would die away unknown, or brave its shade, man's cruder art to jilt. True music is the poetry of sound, a bond between the music of the spheres and mankind's rhythmic soul, life's theme profound, a subtle song which each true artist hears. Fantasia. And soft across the mystic moonlit stillness I dream the tinkle of an elfin bell. Is that a sparkling fairy banner flaunted, or spider's dew-decked web? I cannot tell. Was that a fairy touch upon my forehead, the gentle breath of zephyrs on my brow? And do I dream of airy fairy castles, where elves of pleasant thoughts are dancing now? Oh, all the world's a dream of mystic wonder, which our poor earth-glazed eyes can never see, save fitfully, where fairy fancy chooses, with moonbeam's magic wand, to make men free. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Christmas, 1914, by Irene Curtis, read for LibriVox.org by phone. The Master's saddened, piteous gaze sweeps o'er the earth in strange amaze. On many a blackened field laid waste by war's unjust and murderous haste, it falls, on meadows cloaked in snow, where blood-red footprints mark the foe, on villages that plundered lie in ruins left as war sweeps by. He hears through moonlit peace of night a starving child's low moan of fright, a woman's sob, who patient waits, while reasoning man fights out his hates, the staring eyes and hollow rattle that mark death's prisoners in battle, the brute look in men's eyes set free. Alas, that such a thing should be! Oh, woe unto a Christian land, that brave men should as murderers stand! For months the tide of murderous strife sweeps on, the sound of drum and fife ensnares fresh victims for the flood, that makes whole nations mad for blood, and thousands now unburied lie, without a loved one's tear or sigh. The manhood of a nation's homes a mass of whitened, bleaching bones! And Christmas Day comes on apace to draw upon a warring race, a race which worships that same Babe who came to earth mankind to save. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Song by Irene Curtis, read for LibriVox.org by phone. A mocking bird sat on the limb of a tree and warbled the long summer night. He warbled and warbled as blithe as could be to a world lying hushed in moonlight. The stars overhead seemed to hang from the sky, as if breathless to catch each new rapture, that rose from that fairy throat upward so high and sank back men's hearts to recapture. The song found its way to the heart of a man, and what was it doing there? Releasing a sorrow and easing a pain, it returned to God in prayer. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Fragments by Irene Curtis. Read for LibriVox.org by phone. 1. Groping little baby fingers stretching up towards mother's face, puckered frown of contemplation, then a coo of heavenly grace. Little brother of the angels smiling up from mother's knee, how they ever let you leave them, I shall never really see. 2. Rest, little boy, on mother's breast, 'tis slumber time, dear, and the Sandman is here. The moon slips over a great cloud crest, the wind brings a lullaby out of the west, and we twittering birds are asleep in the nest, and God is always near. Sleep, little boy with the tired eyes, come, get you to bed, little nodding head. Your heaven blue eyes are mother's skies, in your golden hair mother's sunset lies. Your smile is the gay little sunbeam that flies to comfort where tears have been shed. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Alone I Stood by Irene Curtis. Read for LibriVox.org by phone. Alone I stood, and the calm hilltop echoed my silent mood. I watched the moon as it blazoned the clouds with silver light, and the still sky with countless flickering stars bedight. And I thought as I gazed at the wonders of the night, is God not good? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Why Fear Old Age by Irene Curtis. Read for LibriVox.org by phone. Why fear old age? 'Tis foolish, friend, to dread what God hath made. 'Tis only he who has sown and reaped but ill that fears to rest when all is calm and still beneath the shade. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. God Bless You by Irene Curtis. Read for LibriVox.org by phone. 'Twill soon be summer, friend, and when we bid good-bye to those we love, perhaps for aye, and seek for words to let them know our love, why search so long? Will not God bless you do? That message, friend, do I now leave with you. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. End of Preludes of Poetry and Music by Irene Curtis.